So when you're defining your goal, and many of us will sometimes like handwrite out what it is that we're trying to achieve. So I went through this process when I first became a solopreneur. I sat down and wrote out what I was going to do, who I was going to become, all of those details that many of us do in the early stages of creating a business. But it's also beneficial once you're in business to continue to make these kind of statements about what you're hoping to manifest within your business. So I'll give you a couple of tips, and then I'll give you a couple of stories that go with it. So the first one is to state things in the positive. And this sometimes, the word positive sometimes gets misconstrued by many people. I just had this experience this week. I won't get into those details. It was an in-law conversation. Positive does not mean happy and fun in this context. By positive, I mean not using the words can't, don't, won't. Okay, so you get the idea. Those are negating words. So when you're stating your goal, you want to make sure all of your language is positive in the sense that you're saying what you will do more than what you won't do. So that's the first one. And why that's so important is because our brain, especially at our subconscious level, which is like the most important piece, is not able to process that negative. It's like a double. It just can't take that in, and it converts it into a positive. So I don't want to eat cookies means eat cookies. So that's the way it gets interpreted. And so if our goal is truly to not eat cookies, instead of talking about the not eating cookies, we're going to talk about all those beautiful bananas that we're going to be digesting. So focus on what you do want and not on what you don't want. That's the first tip, okay? And then the second one is to define the means and be specific in the sense of ensuring that what you're creating is not something that you don't want. So here's an example. When manifesting money, talking about money, you want to make sure that you're talking about high vibration means. So being specific that this money is going to come to you either through work that you've completed, something, completely bonus like winning the lottery, and being very careful to make sure high vibe means. So nobody died, nobody got hurt. You don't want to manifest this money because you're in some atrocious accident, right? You want it to be high vibe. So you want to define the means of your goal, how you're going to achieve it. So that's your how. So we've already done the what. And then the last piece here is not to limit yourself. And what I mean by that is sometimes when we choose numbers because we have a goal like I want to earn $1,000, I want to work with 10 new people, make sure, I made this mistake, make sure that you, when you're writing out your goal, say at least. When I was first getting started, I had shifted from a corporate career into this, where I could never wear pigtails or sit around on a Thursday night at, what is it, almost 1 o'clock in the morning here, and play fun on Facebook. It was a very big shift for me. And I didn't have a lot of confidence and what I could achieve early on. And so my very first goal that I ever hand wrote out was I gave myself a month to get 2 clients. That might not sound like a very big goal, but like I said, I didn't have a lot of confidence in the beginning. So my goal that I wrote out, and I did some magic and I did all kinds of things to make this goal happen, and it did. My goal was I will have 2 clients by this date. Guess how many clients I had by that date? Exactly 2. So I probably could have had 5 or perhaps more. But so make sure when you're writing out your goals that you don't create limitations for yourself to be able to exceed that goal. Doesn't mean that you want to feel pressured to exceed it, but our subconscious really is listening and really is paying attention to what we're writing, what we're speaking, and what we're thinking. And just to give you a story, a short story about that, I had an experience long before I ever got into NLP and hypnotherapy, when I was still in the corporate environment. And I had a boss that I loved, and I had a team that I loved. And there was a woman who worked in our building. She was like a high-level executive that I ran into her like in the hallways all the time and stuff. And I thought she was like pretty cool, but I didn't know anybody who worked for her, and I hadn't worked for her or with her. And ran into her one day in the hallway. And then later that night, met up with a girlfriend for some wine and, you know, some appetizers and stuff. It was like a Friday night. And she brought this individual up because of some interaction she had had with her. And I just offhandedly, without thinking too much about it, I made a statement, but I made it emphatically. And I said, oh, I would totally work for her. I would totally work for her. She seems really cool. Within 6 months, I was working for her because there ended up being major shifts in our departments. And my amazing boss that I loved, she got rid of, and many other things. So be careful what you wish for. And when I say wish for, I'm talking about being mindful of your language, being mindful of the things that you are writing. They are very powerful. Be mindful of the emails that you're sending, the texts that you're sending, the posts that you're writing, the journaling that you're doing. Be mindful of what you're saying out to the world, to the universe, what you're speaking. And then also extremely important to be mindful of the thoughts that you're thinking. Your thoughts, your words have creative power, and they do and will create. We mostly create through our vibration, but parts of our vibration are informed by our language. So you can tell the difference between saying love versus hate and many other examples in each category. Language has creative vibrational power. So make sure that you're mindful of those things. And I hope you found this to be really helpful and really useful. And as always, I wish you an absolutely beautiful evening, and I look forward to connecting soon.